Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about Bharati Mukherjee's Two Ways to Belong in America. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. Now, in this work by Bharati Mukherjee, we're talking about her and her sister leaving India, immigrating to the United States, and it's all about their um, adventure or their journey in fitting into America. Now, Bharati Mukherjee and her sister Mira, they marry people outside of India, which is very different because we know that India has a caste system. Parents are pretty much choose who you marry, or they're very they influence who you marry, or they guide who you marry. And Mira and Bharati Mukherjee didn't want to do that, so they married outside of India. They married outside their family norm, and Bharati became a U.S. citizen while Mira got her green card, and so they both reside in the United States throughout their lives. They go to college. They're very smart individuals. Mira studies psychology. She becomes not an educator, but she works in the educational field, focusing kind of like on policy changes. While Bharati is a university professor, and she tells us all of this throughout the essay. So we learn a lot about the sisters, the differences, how they're proud of each other, how they pity each other, how they're different, how they're similar, how they relate to different communities. Like Bharati Mukherjee is more kind of like the immigrant that comes to the United States and just marry the United States, becomes a U.S. citizen and adopts it as her own country, like a lot of immigrants do in the United States, or a lot of people do when they leave their country and come to the United States. Like, you become an American, you accept that, you're naturalized in the United States. While Mira is on the other side of the coin because she is more, I want to go back to my country one day. I know the United States is not my home country. I wasn't born here. And Mira, even though she worked in the United States, she enjoys the financial benefits, the stability that exists in the United States of being an individual that resides and works in the United States. She still wants to be. Still wants to go back to India and live her retirement in India, because that's her culture, that's her norms. Bharati kind of tells us throughout the essay that Mira never leaves behind that her culture. She never leaves behind the way that Indian society works in Calcutta, India, and that it's just, she is all about the old world or where she comes from in her country, while Bharati is just all about pretty much adapting and becoming a part of the United States. There's this one sentence that where she even says that I'm adopting blue jeans and fluidity, while Mira is kind of like I'm sticking to my cultural norms. So I think it says a lot about individuals who immigrate to the United States, because this actually is something that's very common. Some people, when they come to the United States, they become blank American, a Hispanic American, a Latin American. We have African Americans, yes, and different Americans, right? And that's what Bharati Mukherjee becomes. She becomes an Indian American, while Mira, she doesn't become an American. She kind of pretty much just stays Indian. And so she pretty much she doesn't adopt the title. She doesn't adopt the culture of Americans. She loves the benefits of America and how American people live. But she's not an American citizen, and she's not, I guess, one of us or America, basically. And so we see their key differences. And this essay, Bharati Mukherjee, the purpose of the essay, the reason why she writes it, is to kind of combat a bill that was moving in Congress, or a movement that was going on in Congress, where they were trying to take the benefits of immigrants away, of immigrants that are not citizens, immigrants that are just residing in the United States. And Mira is kind of affected by this. Bharati Mukherjee's sister is affected by this. And she is forced into becoming a U.S. citizen because she did not want to lose her benefits. She just wanted to just keep her green card, renew her green card and stay a legal, resident, immigrant of the United States. She wanted to do that instead of becoming a citizen, but she is forced into doing that, and it's not something that she wanted to do. So this essay tackles that movement in Congress, and it speaks to a lot of what immigrants go through, because what Bharati Mukherjee basically tells us is that a lot of immigrants come from other countries. They work hard, they do what it takes to make a living for themselves. They benefit the country. They do a lot for the country. They invest into the country. They work in the country. They follow all the rules. They do all these things, and sometimes the government can come in and rip all of their benefits away and kind of pretty much just say that, it's kind of like sometimes the government tells these immigrants that, we don't pretty much care about you guys, and we just want to care about our citizens. And I mean, you can understand that. I mean, a government has to protect its own citizens, has to put its own citizens before everybody else. You can understand that, but at the same time, when there's a group of people that live in a country that are not loved, that are not appreciated, it's a tough thing. And America is a country of immigrants. Every single person, every single individual that is in America, your ancestors came from somewhere. I mean, the only individuals I guess you could say that didn't immigrate would be the Indians, but even them, they had to come from somewhere, because since according to scientists, the human race started in Africa, so they had to at some point. The Indian ancestors had to come from Africa at some point. There's a lot that goes into here about living in America as an immigrant. Do you accept the culture? Do you amalgamate into the culture? Or do you fight against it like Mira does and live in it but not become a part of it and just kind of like cling to your own culture and never let it go? I mean, there's some shady business going on in the essay too. You kind of see like the sisters, they're intelligent individuals. They both get married. They're very close. They still speak to each other throughout their lives. But at the same time, there's a little shadiness going on, because you could see that they each pity each other. It's like a little bit of Mr. T going on. Like, I pity the fool, because Mira is like, man, look at Bharati. She is here adapting to this culture, becoming a part of these Americans, living with these Americans, adopting blue jean while I'm keeping my culture. I'm keeping the India way. And Bharati is in a way saying, man, look at Mira, man. She's stuck to the old world. She's not really looking how wonderful America is, or how wonderful American culture is. She really needs to be updated, because she's just stuck in that old type of life. So it's a very interesting essay. I mean, the ending kind of ends bittersweet. Mira is kind of like forced into becoming an American citizen. Bharati is kind of like fighting the government and writing this essay to protest how they're treating immigrants wrongly, and not in the right way. And that's pretty much how the essay ends. It's a pretty interesting essay. It pretty much highlights the struggles of adapting and pretty much adjusting to the American way of life. And it's very different. It's not like any other type of country, because in America, you can find sets and groups and cultures of every single culture and ethnicity on earth. From New York to California to Texas to Alaska, you are going to find your people in America, because it's just such a big country and there's so many ethnicities and cultures represented here. And if you need some more evidence of that, just look at any U.S. Olympic team and just see all of, you black, Hispanic, white. The U.S. Olympic team is always like a rainbow, while every other country, it's like, China is always going to be Chinese. You're not going to see like a bunch of Chinese people and a black guy in the Chinese Olympic team. It could happen. We'll never know, but you're not going to see that. So that's really the essay. In terms of analysis, in terms of a deeper meaning, I think this essay kind of relates to every single one of us. When you are adjusting to a different group of people, to a different culture, you're fighting governments, or you're fighting against policies and policy changes. It can be tough adjusting, and also you're kind of in somewhat of a conflict with your sister when it comes to Bharati and her sister in this essay. There's a lot to take in. It's a lot to think about. Do you keep your culture? Do you not? Well, the only thing I have to say about that, the only thing I have to say about, I guess, adapting to the United States, you can't win. If you live in the United States, if you immigrate from another country and you come into the United States, it's going to be very hard to keep your culture. You're going to change. No matter what you do, you're going to change because when you live in America, American culture, you're going to become a part of it. There's no escape. You're gonna have, if you have kids in America, if you, let's say you come from Germany, right? You come from Germany, you're totally German, you're all about German culture. Well, then you have kids in America. Well, your kids are gonna speak English, you're gonna speak English, you're gonna get a job speaking English, you're going to adopt American holidays. You're gonna get, you're going to get stuck in things like Black Friday and Thanksgiving and Christmas. I mean, Christmas is a global holiday, but still, the American version of Christmas is a little bit different. And you're gonna get pulled in and pulled into American culture, and it's going to change you. It's going to change your personality and your look on the world. And a few generations down, your kids, your great grandkids are gonna know that they're coming from a German background, but they're probably going to be pretty much Americans and not really have the culture of where you came from, as I guess fundamental as you were in your culture. So that's my opinion on this essay. Very, I guess, relatable. Says a lot. Really interesting read. It's an essay, not a book, not a short story. Really good. And that's all, folks. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.